Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. I'm assuming
So
you've been harvesting a lot of wheat on this
I
first
have
row.
not harvested any
There's
yet.
just a lot of missing wheat here. But
Yeah, no, this area through here has been beat down by slimes, by us jumping on it. Lots of
slimes
things.
are going to be a problem, aren't they?
They're not going to be a problem once we plant because they won't spawn on tilled soil.
Oh yeah, and they can't spawn on these half slabs either.
Right. Well, so we're fine. So, we've talked before about my daughter's fairies, right?
You're gonna have to elaborate a little bit more because I don't quite understand.
Okay, so
did you go to the Nether in the last episode?
I did.
Oh, sweet! I was about to grab all the picks and do so because I knew we were running out.
Yeah, it was dark and there was lots of mobs, and I was tired of it, so I just went to the Nether. So many years ago, Crystal had this idea. I don't know where she got it from, but of a fairy garden.
We definitely know not from New Jersey. If it was an idea.
So like in my grandma's backyard, there's the fairies have made a garden, and there's a little fairy garden, and the fairies left a note in my daughter's room and a map to the garden, and so she discovered this fairy garden that the fairies had built, and occasionally things get added to it over time, and then an Easter or two ago, I guess it's been 2 Easters ago. Go ahead.
So this is over and above Santa Claus.
Yes.
Okay.
I have lots of things that are over and above Santa Claus.
Lots of magic happening at the Guude household.
There is. It's a wonderful place. I mean, Mickey leaves a gift every Christmas too, like not just Santa. Anyways,
Mickey's Guude's bar buddy. And I don't mean a guy named Mickey, like Mickey Mouse, like literally. It's just
Mickey Mouse comes and hangs out with me at the bar. God, I would pay for that Disney experience. Like,
the adult,
there's all these
experience.
character dinners. I want to have the fucking character dinner at the bar with Goofy and Mickey. That's what I want.
Now, do you want the actual them fully in costume, or do you want just them with the body of the costume but not the head, so they can actually drink, but the head
no, there has to be a way for them to drink too, like but they need to have the head on, so this is going to be, they have to work this out, so yeah, it needs to be full costume. I mean, this is not costume, Jeff. Anyway, so this fairy garden, it's like I said, it grows over time, and a couple Easters ago she got a Rapunzel mailbox, like a little small mailbox, and she decided that would be a conduit to talk to the fairies. So she leaves things in the mailbox. She puts the little flag up or whatever, and the fairies come and take whatever's in there and respond to her and leave, her something, or vice versa or whatever. So they have a little go back and forth. And like whenever she loses a tooth, that's where she leaves her tooth for the tooth fairy to get it. Is in the little mailbox. So
that makes it convenient.
It is very, very convenient for the tooth fairy. So a couple of days ago, she told me that she's like, I'm gonna leave my diary beside the and I don't read her diary, like that's her thing. I'm not gonna touch it. Whatever. I mean, what can really be in a 7-year-old's diary that I need to know anyways? But a couple days ago, let me make sure she's not listening. I just want to. I think she's asleep, but I just got to double check. All right, we're good. All right, so a couple of days ago, she says she's leaving her diary beside her mailbox, and there's a note on it that says you can read this, and the key's there. She's like, just so you know, that note's not for you; it's for the fairies. And I'm like, okay, all right, I understand. And so she left a note for the fairies confessing her first crush on a boy at school. And she told the fairies that she wanted to give him a gift, but she didn't have a way to get him a gift because she couldn't tell me about it. And then in her diary, it's got like this whole her and the boy and like a little picture and all this stuff. And the funny thing is, like, the pages before it in the diary are like about her best friend having a crush, and like they're dated too. So like this was like a month ago her friend has this crush, and she's like, and I don't think that I'm old enough to have a crush, is what she says in her diary. But apparently in the last month something has changed. So she now has a crush on a boy, and she needs to get a gift for him.
It's not the same boy, is it?
Different boy.
Okay.
Different boy. What's funny about it is that I think then she probably still had a crush on the boy, because even then she like has like she drew a picture a month ago of him and her, but she put like a big X through it and like a heart with an X through it. So it was like no crush.
Just to make this clear,
Yeah.
no crush.
So so yeah, the fairies saw all of this, and I keep all these like stocking stuffer gifts and stuff, and Mojang or Microsoft mails me things all the time too. So I had like a bunch of like Minecraft grab bag type things. So I left that for her in there and everything. So the next morning she got up and like, oh no, like and when she asked if it was okay, if it was okay to have a crush at her age, and I just like left a little note in there that was basically like, you know, it's fine to have like to like someone in, at any age, but keep in mind, like I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I remember basically saying keep in mind that when you're very young, these things aren't as serious as they are when you're an adult, basically. And so the next morning she got up and like hid everything real quick and like came out and she was like, oh, I have this toy, I'm gonna take it to school today. And I was like, all right, cool, sounds good. So yeah.
So let's go back to one of the things that I have the concern with telling my kid about Santa Claus. Is they're gonna feel like, you know, potentially I'm worried that they'll feel lied to and betrayed.
Right.
Because I think they'll find out at a much earlier age now, you know, than they would have before. And that's a big part of it, is that it's not like it was when we were growing up. I think it's different because they have so much more information at their fingertips that it's going to get ruined. They're going to be younger and not understand the reasoning behind what we are trying to do. That's my concern that you think I'm unfounded with. Now, you have the added complexity of having to say, by the way, the fairies weren't real. The thing that you specifically asked me not to do, I did, was reading these notes.
Well,
I know I know
mean,
all these things. Are you concerned that that's going to be embarrassing for your daughter in the future?
I don't think so. I think once she's at an age where she realizes what happened, I think she'll be happy. That,
but how
you know,
how long do you think that age is going to be where this fairy thing keeps up?
Probably like within the next 2 years, she'll realize.
And do you think that's like?
Honestly, I think that it bridges a gap that might be something that would not have happened. Like she may, you know, I think I was always embarrassed.
I'm not telling you I think you're wrong. This is like me struggling and toying with whether I don't know the best thing to do in my situation, so I wonder what your thought process is on your situation.
Well, here's my thought on it. Like, I was always embarrassed to ever talk to my parents about any of this sort of thing, like crushes, boyfriend, girlfriend, any of that type of stuff. For whatever reason, it never became a point. I mean, you know, if my dad was still alive now or whatever, it would probably be way different, you know. But you know, at no point in school was it I ever at a point where I was talking to my parents about these sort of things. So I think the difference here is you know, at whatever age, 8, 9, 10, when she realizes what all transpired, she can realize that, you know what, she could have those conversations with me. Not only did she basically have that conversation with me, I also made sure she had a gift for her little crush.
Okay. I mean, I see where you're going with that and where your thought process is. It's not like you told her it is inappropriate to like anybody, boys off limits. You know, what would your father think type of
right
type of response from the fairies. That would be a little bit more devastating, to say the least. I am curious to see how this one's going to play out, though.
I mean, we'll know eventually, right? We're living it.
I'm true. We are living it, and you guys can also live it too through the Guano podcast. But if you're hearing this to know about the Guano podcast, then you're already living it with us.
Yeah. So today she comes home, and some little boy on the bus told her he has to bring her a toy that he can have. Like, she went to her room immediately, and I was like, "Where are you going? You gotta do homework." She's like, "I gotta get something." And I'm like, "Okay." And she comes out with a toy, and I'm like, "What are you doing with that?" And she's like, "I have to bring this tomorrow to school." I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "You know, you can't bring toys to school." And she's like, "So and so on the bus said if I don't bring him a toy tomorrow, he's gonna make all my hair fall out." I'm like, for one thing, that that's not a thing that he can do. That's not possible. And for another, that's a bully. So anyways, I said to her, I was like, for one thing, you know, you can't bring toys to school, and he can't make all your hair fall out. And for another, that's a bully. Like, he's bullying you. You don't just give in to a bully. I was like, so no, you cannot bring this toy to school to give to this kid. And you know, if he continues to bully you, then you need to talk to the bus driver, or, you know, if nothing else, I'll talk to the bus driver about it. And so tonight, whenever she went to bed, she's like, I have a new note in there for the fairies. And I'm like, oh, do you? It's like, what's it about? Can I know this time? And she was like, I'm double checking with them to see if the boy can make my hair fall out. And I was like, I told you he can't make your hair fall out. And she's like, well, but what if he can? I need to ask them. They'll know. And I was like, all right. So, I mean, I feel like there's at least like there's benefits here too, because like she obviously didn't believe me when I said this boy can't make her hair fall out.
And at least like in this one, at least she's willing to talk to you about it, because she even told you what the note was about this time. So I mean that right. Shows that you guys have a, whether she believes you or not is because like it's something that's about her, but at least she feels comfortable with, you know, even telling you what it is that she's putting in there this time.
Right. I mean, but prior to this, there's never been, prior to the crush thing, it's never been anything that was like intimate or, you know, secretive or anything like that. Like she would always basically like,
just
like
tell
she
you
would
what it was.
like, well, yeah, and it normally wasn't even notes. There's been a few occasions where it was notes. Like there was one point she asked the fairy if they have any kids and what they look like. But other than that, it's always just been gifts. Like I keep just a bunch of little like knickknacks and like little flowers and all these little things, and they just trade gifts. Like she'll make a little art project and leave it in there, and then the fairies will leave her something, and that's how it normally goes. Prior to the crush thing, it wasn't like she didn't have a fairy psychiatrist basically.
Fairy psychiatrist. So do you think she has a bully, or does this have to do with the crush?
That's what I don't know, and I haven't seen the note tonight, so I guess I'll find out if there's more to it than what I thought, because she did give him this little Minecraft toy that she got the other day, and the thing she grabbed from her room today was a little creeper toy. So I don't know if they're related or not.
Does
so
she have a
maybe
crush on the bully? That would suck.
No, because different names. I know the names. I don't remember the name she said when she got off the bus, but it wasn't, and he doesn't ride her bus either. Her little crush. So. But Valentines is coming up next week, and I've asked her. I'm like, is there anyone that we need to get anything special for or anything like that? She's like, not at all, not at all. I'm like, okay. I was like, if there's any boy you want to get anything special for, we can.
Wait,
I said, or even like your little best friends or whatever, like a girl or something. If you have a best friend, you'd rather have a special present to give her. We can do that.
Were you telling me that people can't give Valentines, or they have to give them the whole class, or?
They have to give it to the whole class. They can't. I mean, it's been different based on each classroom too. One of the things I think what you're probably thinking about was they can't do birthday type stuff at the school.
Okay.
So you can't give out birthday invitations to a birthday party or anything like that. Which this year, so last year I had asked the teacher, and the teacher told me no. So this year when her birthday was coming up, I was just like, all right, here's your invitations. Don't ask your teacher if you can give them out. Just hand them out to the people you want to give them to, and just don't make a big deal out of it. Because I think that's kind of stupid. Like, you shouldn't have to invite the whole class to your birthday, and I guess they know you're not going to, so then as a result, you can't invite anybody, which I think is just dumb. So,
well, yeah, I think it goes to I remember when I was in like elementary school, and there'd be birthday parties, and if I wasn't invited to one of the birthday parties, it was one of those ones that was everybody's riding the bus home to this person's house after school, so they would line you up, and I was gonna be like, anybody who's going to Adam's birthday party, come over here, and like 3/4 of the class goes over there, and I'm just like sitting at my desk going, why didn't Adam invite me to the birthday party? And then of course the next birthday party, I'm like one of the kids in the line, and I'm like, losers, not invited. Right? So I don't know if that's why it was. I'm assuming that's why they do it, is to try to make kids not feel left out.
At what point do you let the kids grow up?
Well,
I guess kindergarten, first grade isn't that point.
And so. I would never have thought back in the day when that was happening that it was an unfair thing to let kids do in school. I never thought about it like that afterwards. I just thought that was part of growing up. Is that you're not going to get invited to some things. Like, everybody doesn't get invited to everything just because they want to, type of deal.
Yeah, I think it's a lesson that kids gotta learn. I don't know when they're supposed to, but apparently it's not kindergarten.
So when it comes to Valentines, you said they have to give them the whole class. I'm assuming that they have the choice to not give any, right?
Yeah, you're not required to bring anything, but I think if you're that kid that doesn't bring anything, then everyone looks at you like, "Wow, that asshole didn't give us a gift at all." I don't know. I do know last year in kindergarten, I was a little bit worried about overdoing any of those type of things, like Halloween, or like my first instinct is to make this big elaborate thing because I like making that kind of stuff. Like, let's make a little heart thing that contains like all these different things or whatever. Like Halloween, there was like the Walmart had these little pumpkin buckets, and like they weren't super big, but they hold like a couple different things in them and stuff. And I thought that'd be kind of cool. But then I was like, man, I don't want to be that one parent that just sends in this crazy stuff when no one else does. And so we didn't do that. Like me and Chris talked about it. We were still on speaking terms then, and didn't do that. And then only one kid went overboard with it. And so I was like, okay, I'm glad that we didn't, since no one else really did except for one kid. I'm glad we weren't the overboard parents. I did go overboard for like our Girl Scouts and stuff, but I felt that was on a smaller scale and it wasn't as big of a deal.
Well, you bought 5,000 boxes of cookies.
No, there was a couple occasions. So like one of the like rally things, they said to bring all your pennies in, and whichever troop had the most pennies would win some trip. So I just went to the bank and bought $50 worth of pennies, and so I just brought them a case of pennies. And apparently, like the next troop up had like $12 worth of pennies total or something like that. And yeah, it was.
And you gave them 50, and they had 12. I mean, but pennies, you should have a lot. Like $50 does not seem like a lot to me to be like, this is a fundraising.
It was. I didn't think it was gonna be a lot. And like, this is when Crystal worked at the bank, and I was like, hey, just get us $50 worth of pennies out and bring it to me. And then when she gave it to me, I was like, holy shit, that's so many pennies. I didn't, because it was like in a little like I guess they get shipped to the bank in these cases, and like it was in this thing, and like I don't know, I never seen $50 worth of pennies in such a tightly bound thing of. I don't know. If you ever see $50 with pennies, it's gonna throw you off guard. You're not gonna expect what you're gonna see.
I know we used to have penny wars at my college, and what it was how did it work? Every like fraternity had a jar in the main campus building or whatever, and in this jar, pennies. I can't remember if pennies were good or pennies were bad, but one of them was good, one of them was bad, and you could either fill up your own jar or have people donate to you with whatever one, whether it was pennies or like silver. So it was pennies versus silver, essentially what it was. One of them was a positive gain and the other one was a negative gain.
Right.
So basically you had this thing where you were trying to fill up your jars with the positive thing or fill up everybody else's jars with the negative thing. So it was kind of like this two-pronged approach. Do you go for just filling up my own jar, or do I really try to sink this other group down instead?
Gotcha.
But so it could end up like with, it was an interesting fundraiser is where I'm getting at. It's not just bringing pennies and it's money. More money might be a net zero gain for your house because you might just be balancing out the negative money towards you or whatever.
Right. You're not actually getting out of the hole.
Basically.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I think at Valentine's Day I'd also done something where I like made this like little cup and like I gave everyone like a pencil and like I don't know, it was like several things. Because she was supposed to bring something for Valentine's, but yeah, I went a little overboard with it. But anyways. Next week is my week.
Person who makes like individual like knickknacks for an entire class. I don't know why.
I mean, it's not something I would be doing if I didn't have a daughter.
I mean, it's like Goose just that guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like everyone's like, Goose, that Disney guy, knows everything about Disney. Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't know the first thing. I mean, I would know, I remember seeing Aladdin and stuff like that as a kid, Lion King. But I wouldn't have this in-depth knowledge of how every princess story and all this type of stuff if it wasn't for having a kid.
A lot of people do talk about Extra Life and how it's more a trip for you that your daughter happens to be there as opposed to the other way around.
Just drag her along. Yeah.
I mean, you were the most exhausted I've ever seen you at Extra Life last year. And I've seen you for how many marathons?
Yeah. No, Disney's rough, man. And I got gout in the middle of it, too, and that just really sucked. So yeah, my mom's coming this year, and she does not know what she signed up for.
To oh, the Extra Life.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, her and my daughter will be doing the Disney thing while I'm doing the Extra Life thing on those days that I don't have a choice.
Right.
And yeah, she does not know what she's gotten herself into. So
yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah. And see,
like Renee was supposed to come, but then she said she couldn't afford it because she couldn't bring her daughter and her for the price. And it's probably good that she didn't, because I don't think she'd ever want to talk to me again.
I mean, see, that's where I think that you would also run into a problem if you ever did get on Survivor, because you would randomly have Gout like at the very beginning of
that would
the
suck.
excursion.
That would kill me if that happened. Like that would be one of those things where like there's a season of Alone where there's a person that has some kind of sickness, but they maintained it. I don't want to say anything too much to like ruin your whenever you go to watch it. Like,
I actually started watching season 2 today. I turned on episode 1, and then I fell asleep. But I started watching.
But yeah, there's someone that has a thing that hasn't bothered them in like many years, and it flares up on them, and it just ruins them.
Yeah,
and
that
they're
would
just
be
like, I can't believe this is happening to me now of all time.
Dude, it would be actually worse for you. Like, I guess if you started and had Gout, you'd immediately get voted out. Like, there's no question.
Oh yeah, they would immediately kill you.
You might have one of those problems where you do fine at the beginning, and then you win one of those reward challenges where you go and it has like all you can eat steaks and beers or something,
right?
And in the middle of the competition, all of a sudden you now are unable to perform anymore because
right. I would immediately not drink the beer. I've thought about this. I've actually had this thought in my head before, like, what would I do in this situation? Not drink the beer, that's for sure. But yeah, like the red meat is one of those ones, and especially when you're not having a normal diet. It's I think what it is, because I don't have Gout that often at home, but it seems like every time I go on one of these trips, and I think part of it might be the plane ride. I think something happens in the plane ride that changes, like something, like the way my blood flows, the way things flow. I don't know what it is, but I feel like maybe the plane ride is part of what, because my legs always swell up on the plane. Like, do you have that?
No.
Oh no, I just broke a pick. No. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Damn. Well, yeah, but yeah, I take the baby aspirin and stuff, but yeah, I still have like, I don't know, my legs get kind of swollen, and then the Gout comes.
Well, you were
get
like
the
miserable
diamonds down here
at the marathon. I got some diamonds right there. I had to go get a fortune pick before I pulled.
Okay, you did use a fortune pick.
Yeah,
okay, good. I've been carrying this fortune pick for a few days. Thinking I gotta get these diamonds.
No, I just pulled those ones because I went up and got the fortune pick to pull them. I only ended up with 3 diamonds though, so it didn't help that much.
Oh, that sucks. But yeah, no, that's the worst Gout I think I've had in, I don't even remember how long. The marathon Gout, that was really bad.
Yeah, you were pretty much unable to move like a normal person the entire marathon this year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. And but prior to that, the last time I had Gout, it'd been like 6 months or something.
Would you, ignoring the whole Gout thing, and I've thought about this before too, as if I'm ever gonna go. Though the talk that we had in the last recording session is making me like reinvigorate my script for the video I need to make. But as if I'll ever go. But I have definitely thought about just even some of the reward challenges and what I wouldn't partake in, because I've seen people fail because of partaking in them.
Like what?
Like when they go to those places randomly that there's just all you can eat meat platters.
Oh, right, and then they
ate so much, and
basically.
they basically were non-functional the next day because they were having such GI problems from having gone to 15 days without any like real food, and then all of a sudden they engorged themselves on red meat.
I think that's one of those things you have to be super conscious of whenever you're out there and not mess up, basically.
Well,
like,
and it's also so easy to say. I can't. If I was out there for 15 days and you all of a sudden busted out like, you won all this beer and wine, I want to sit here and go, I wouldn't drink because that would be a terrible thing for my game. I would be so fucking plastered. I would be like, oh, beer, I've missed you.
I feel like you would get plastered way too easy. Honestly, you wouldn't even mean to get plastered. And you would
that's
just have
probably
like 2
true.
beers and be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that's probably true as well. And oh my god, like I could have all these thoughts in my mind and never, but not actually play them outright. It's really bad because we watch a lot of TV shows. Like for one, with Survivor itself, I never understand why people aren't out looking for idols more often. Constantly,
it does seem weird. Like you have those guys that do it all the time, but then you have so many that are just like, go hang out in the camp.
Yeah, you have so many people that don't do anything, and then finally somebody will be like, man, I know I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm really going to hit it hard today and look for an idol, otherwise I'm out of this game. And it's been like, wait, an idol hasn't been played in the last 5 tribals. That means for the past, 10 days at least, this idol's just been hanging out there, and nobody's been going after it because you ended up finding it when you needed it.
I do wonder how often people do search for idols and we don't get to see that.
And that's very possible as well. I get upset with things like Survivor when I'm watching it because I don't know the context behind the actual, the things I'm mad at. Do I have a legit reason to be mad at, or did I miss that a lot of that actually did happen and they just didn't show it? But then we watch things like Hell's Kitchen, and for some odd reason, it's like people are playing Hell's Kitchen, and all of a sudden the sous chefs come up and they cooked everybody breakfast in bed. And they all ate it, and then they come downstairs for a challenge, and it's like, that breakfast you ate, recreate it. And everybody's like, I just thought it was food. I didn't pay attention to what
that
was
always blows my mind.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Have you never seen this show before?
Yeah, that is one of those, are you really that dumb?
Right.
Do you know where you're at? You're in a damn TV show.
You're not in the first season of this TV show. You are in, the 15th season of this TV show, and they've done the same type of shit every single season.
Is Hell's Kitchen still a thing? Are they still doing that?
Yeah. There's actually a season going on right now. I think.
Man, I have not seen that. I probably have 10 seasons to watch.
It's entertaining. It's all the same thing,
that's why I stopped watching it, because it became so the same.
Well, and that the prize doesn't usually pan out. Hell's Kitchen, I think, has less than a 50% success rate for actually having the person take over the restaurant that they said they were going to take over when the season started.
That is true.
Which I don't understand how they can get away with that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it is almost like a scam or something. It is kind of weird that that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, we probably should stop. I don't know how far this episode has gone. It's gone a long time, but I lost my timer halfway through. So it's a big episode, I think.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.